I've always said if Darth Vader took a bunch of speed and designed a handgun, you get the Staccato XC. Now, personally, this is probably one of my favorite guns to shoot, and I'm really excited to be able to do a video on it. There's a lot of good things to talk about, but Staccato as a brand, fairly new name to the market, but they've been around for quite some time. So most people know these guns as STI, but they've gone through some changes, and with the new name Staccato, it's pretty fitting. And if you look up the term staccato in the dictionary, again, it's really appropriate for what these guns do. Staccato being a drum beat, really tagging those steel targets, ding, 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 ding. And these things do that really well. But the Staccato XC, is it a competition gun? Is it a duty gun? Is it personal defense? Will it drive back the rebel forces on Endor? Like, what is this gun meant to do? And I'm gonna tell you all of it. I really like this gun for several reasons, but first let's go over some of the features and benefits, what really make the XC special. So, everything Staccato does is painstakingly produced. Everything is hand fitted. So they actually first start with a slide machined out of a solid block of billet, and they go even the extra step by sourcing everything in the US. These are made, manufactured, cut, everything in Georgetown, Texas, pretty close to us. So we got a chance to tour the facility too. We'll drop a link to that video as well. So they start off with the slide here. They'll cut the slide and everything that they need to do to kind of start the gun and build the rest of the gun to that. So this isn't just an assembly line of parts that they're just throwing together. They're starting off with one piece and hand fitting and lapping everything to that. What this gun's really known for is that 5-inch island comp. Now this is a 5-inch barrel. However, this is one piece too. This isn't just a pinned compensator on the front of that. And if you look at this thing, it's pretty crazy how they get that thing machined. And that's probably the most difficult part of this gun, but it really, really makes a difference. Aesthetically wise, I also think it looks really good. So it just kind of blends in and kind of disappears with that gun. On the front here, you will see it does have a full length dust cover. So if you want to mount lights or any other attachments, you're able to do so. Now, being that it's a 2011, this is a double stack, and Staccato's really done a good job and put their homework in on the grip itself. Now, this is a polymer grip here, stainless frame and slide, but that grip, being polymer, it does a couple things, and it's not just weight savings. It actually acts as kind of a energy dampener. So it absorbs energy as the gun cycles back. So you pull the trigger, bang, it goes back. While that's energy's coming back, it's actually coming into the grip and kind of squeezing that grip down ever so slightly, and then sending that energy back into sending that slide home. So it's nothing you're gonna feel, it's nothing you're gonna see, but there's science out there. That's one of the reasons why they're able to kind of get this thing to cycle more reliably and be a faster and softer shooter, is because of the way that grip is designed. Now this does have kind of a curved trigger shoe here. The trigger pull does come right at 2.5 pounds, so it's a very light trigger. Other things on it is, it does come with a kind of a smaller flared mag well. I do like this. So whether you carry it, if it's in a duty carry, or if you really want to carry that thing appendix, compensating, this mag well is kind of nice because it will really just suck in those magazines pretty easy without being too big or bulky. A lot of parts are interchangeable too, so if you ever wanted to add like a Dawson Precision mag release, you're able to do so here. But mag release is fine, easy to use. This is not threaded, so if you wanted a big paddle or anything like that, you need to change it. But I think what this gun's intended for, you don't really need to. Moving back to the grip safety here, easy to get a purchase on. It's easy to activate. I don't have the biggest hands, so I have no problem pulling that thing out of the holster every time and deactivating that grip safety. One thing that they do on all these grips too is underneath the trigger guard and kind of where the trigger guard and then the grip meet, it's undercut pretty well too. So it's gonna allow you to get a little bit of a higher purchase on that handgun, again, absorbing more of that recoil. And if you don't have lurch hands, a little easier to wrap your hands around that. Safeties on these are very easy to use. They're also ambidextrous. So nothing worse than getting a gun that's really tough to get that safety activated, so whether on or off. So real easy on this. The other thing out of the box is these do come with that Dawson Precision optics mounting on here. So the gun will come with the fiber optic front sight. They do have green or red options in there, so there's little fiber inserts, but then there's a plate here. So if you want to run this iron sights, you totally can. It comes with iron sights and a plate in there, but you can remove this, and there are a couple plate options that come with this gun. The footprint itself is actually cut out for a Leupold Delta Point Pro, which is on this thing currently. So to get the most kind of flush, lowest optic in there, the Delta Point is the way to go, but they do have mounts for the RMR or the Vortex footprints as well. So there's a whole host of optics that you could throw on this thing, and red dots are really gonna be needed on this thing because it shoots fast and red dots are kind of cheating. So I think this thing both looks better and performs good with a red dot on there. But let's talk about shooting it. So everything on this is super slick. You know, they have that DLC, that diamond-like coating, and even, I mean, just the slide itself, this whole thing just feels so massaged in and worked in. And it was like that from, you know, the day one. This does have a couple thousand rounds through it, so it's definitely well broken in, but from day one, it was super slick. Even charging this thing, you can punch it back and rack the slide without manipulating it with another hand. Easy gun to operate, whether you're kind of a novice or an expert. So that was one thing that they really wanted to focus on too, is, you know, not just a gun that ran fast, but something that's easy to clean, easy to operate, and that's reliable. So that's where it kind of goes back into that kind of identity crisis. Like, is this a race gun? Is it a space gun? Is it for carrying? And again, my answer is yes. So it's reliable. It's rugged if you want to carry it, you know, in as a duty, in a duty holster with a light. Get this thing beat up, throw dirt on it, you know, run it through its paces. It's going to run you. If you want to, you know, take all the lights off, run a big dot, and run in a open competition, I think it's going to serve you really well. So again, this fills kind of the void for a lot of things. But again, easy to disassemble. This does have a toolless guide rod in here as well. So no tools needed. Even with that island barrel, it's super easy to come apart and clean. So disassembly and reassembly is really nice. I also think too, and this is something that they don't really market towards, is, you know, if you're in the market and you have poor hand strength, whether it's arthritis, whatever it may be, manipulating this slide is so easy, and a lot of people don't think about that. So whether smaller physique, again, or just, you know, weak hands, something like this might be, you know, good to consider. Maybe something else from the Staccato lineup, because those slides are really easy to operate. So, you know, automatics, semi-automatic handguns have a lot of pros to them, but some of the downsides are, you know, stiff slides to operate. So, you know, you need to be confident and be able to operate that firearm. But downrange, again, this is one of my favorite guns to shoot. Accuracy, no question. Or the iron sights or the red dot. It's I do have this set up for about a 25-yard zero, but whether it's a defensive situation or really, you know, slow, steady shots for accurate shots, this thing is a tack driver. So very, very, very accurate. And that has nothing to do with the compensator or anything like that, but just, you know, slow, steady rounds. It's going to, you know, put those rounds effectively on target where you're aiming. Now the compensator, I do think this is kind of the way forward. And what that does is, you know, as the bullet comes down the barrel, you know, there's gases following it. And instead of all the gas just exiting out the front here, there's a large chunk cut at the top here. And again, that's on the barrel, so it's not on the slide, or it's not anything, you know, added to the frame. And what that's going to do is help divert all those gases upwards, keeping that muzzle down. So you can see as we're shooting, that thing is just like a sewing machine. It's just back and forth, barely any rise to this thing, which makes you want to just step on that gas pedal, makes you want to go faster. Now, the only downside to these are they're a little pricey. You know, they're in that low $4,000 range, and that's before you put an optic on it, but it's very justifiable on the price. The only other downside I can think of is having to pay the ATF a $200 tax stamp to register your finger's machine gun, because this thing shoots fast. But in all seriousness, it is a really great handgun. Now, if you can't tell, I do really enjoy the Staccato XC, and I think you would too. Make sure to come over to Texas Gun Experience, demo our guns. We do have plenty of Staccatos on our range demo fleet. But let me know down in the comments what you think, you know, if it's on the XC, if it's on 2011s, or even comped guns. Do you think they're overpriced for what you get? Would you carry one? Really kind of interested to know and hear your feedback. Please like and subscribe to the video, and we'll see you guys on the range.